Good morning, everyone. My name is HUNRE, and I'm your lecturer for today's lesson. In this unit, we are going to learn about recruitment agency and how they work in the job search process. That is a very practical topic because many candidates use agency to find jobs, attend interviews, and communicate with employers. By the end of the lessons, I hope you will understand how to work with agencies more effectively and more professionally. Now let's begin with the title of today's lesson. Please look at the title sign on the screen. Today's lesson is Unit 4, Recruitment Agencies, from English for Job Interviews. In this lesson, we will focus on how recruitment agencies work and what candidates should know when dealing with them. We will also discuss key strategies that help candidates make better decisions during the job search process. As you go through the lesson, try to think about how this knowledge may help you in your future career. Now let's look at the unit's overview. In this unit, it is divided into 4 main parts. First, we will study agencies and timing. Second, we will move to objective and money. And third, we will discuss honesty, CV, silent, and interview. Finally, we will look at the post-interview notice and starting a new job. So the lesson is organized in a logical way from beginning of the job search process to the start a new job. Please look at the learning objective on the screen. By the end of this lesson, students should be able to explain the role of recruitment agencies and prepare for agency interviews more effectively. You will also learn how to manage CV revision, salary discussion, and follow-up communication in a professional way. Another important goal is to help you become more confident in agency-based job searching. So this lesson is not only about understanding content, but also about applying it in a real situation. Now let's begin with the session 4.1, Agencies and Timing. Recruitment agencies connect employer and candidates. They may recruit for several similar jobs, and sometimes one advertisement can represent more than one vacancy. That means candidates should think broadly about opportunities rather than focusing too narrowly on one job only. As you listen, consider this question. Why is it useful to understand how agencies operate before applying? Now, let's look at the main function of recruitment agency. First, they search for suitable candidates for employers. Second, they match candidates with available positions. Third, they arrange interview and communication between both sides. And finally, they support companies throughout the hiring process. So, recruitment agencies do much more than simply posting jobs. They play an active role in connecting people and organizing the recruitment process. Please look at the 2 main types of recruitment agencies shown on this slide. The first type is specialized agencies. These agencies focus on one particular field or industry. Because of that, they often understand candidates' skills and career goals more deeply. The second type is general agencies, which work across many industries. They may offer a wider range of opportunities, but their advice may be less specialized. So understanding this difference can help candidates choose the right agency for their job search. Now, let's think about the question on this slide. Why use an agency? Recruitment agency can give candidates access to more opportunities. They may also have candidates understand market demand more clearly. Another benefit is support with job matching, which can save time and reduce confusion. Agency can also connect candidates with the employer more quickly. So, using an agency may be a useful strategy, especially for candidates who want more guidance in job search process. Now, please look at the key points on this slide. A good recruitment agency should interview candidates seriously and respectfully. It should also show genuine interest in the candidate's profiles, not treat the meeting as a routine task. In addition, the interview should take place in a professional setting. These standards matter because they reflect the quality of the agency and the respect it shows to candidates. So, when working with agency, candidates should also observe how professionally they are treated. Now, let us consider some possible warning signs. A noisy or unsuitable interview location, a distracted or rushed agent, and a long waiting time without explanation may suggest a lack of professionalism. Poor communication or unclear information is another warning sign that candidates should not ignore. If an agency cannot provide clear answers or professional support, candidates should think carefully before continuing to work with them. So, recognizing warning signs is an important part of protecting yourself during the job search process. Now, let's move to agent strategy. This slide highlights an important idea. More exposure can mean more opportunities. Candidates may choose to work with one agency or several agencies. Using more agencies can increase visibility and open access to more vacancies. However, this also requires good organization to avoid confusion and duplicate applications. So, a smart agency strategy should balance opportunity with careful management. Now, please look at the topic of timing and flexibility. One advantage of agency interviews is that they are often more flexible in scheduling. Candidates may choose times that fit their schedule more comfortably. This flexibility can reduce stress and make preparation easier. At the same time, planning ahead helps candidates stay well prepared and shows professionalism. So, a good management is not only practical but also an important professional skill. Now, let's focus on punctuality and availability. Candidates should arrive on time for agency interviews. They should also dress professionally and allow enough time for the meeting. Another important point is to clearly state when they are available for interviews and contact. These small actions create a good first impression and show that the candidate is reliable and well prepared. So, punctuality is not just about time, it is also about professionalism. Now we move to section 4.2, objective and money. Candidates need to clear job goals to success in the job search process. A clear objective helps agency match candidates with more suitable positions. By contrast, vague goals can waste time and create confusion. So agencies work better with candidates who are focused and know what a job they want. After you listen, ask yourself, how clear is your own career objective? Now let's talk about clear career direction. Candidates should identify their preferred role and field. They need to know what type of work suits them best. Understanding personal strengths and interests helps them target the right position and communicate better with the recruitment agencies. They should also define priority before interviews because clear choices improve decision making. So clear direction saves time and makes job matching more accurate and effective. Now please pay attention to this important point. Not every advertisement is exact. Some job ads may not represent real vacancies. Instead, they may be used to attract potential candidates and build a candidate database for future opportunities. That means candidates should stay realistic and alert. They should research agency carefully and ask questions about the actual availability of the positions. So, critical thinking is very important when reading job advertisements. Now let us consider how recruitment agencies are paid. The key points are simple. First, the company pays the agency. Second, agencies earn money through successful placement. Third, candidates usually do not pay any fees. That is important because it helps candidates understand how agencies operate and where their financial motivation comes from. So, knowing how agencies are paid can also help candidates understand agency behavior more clearly. Now, let's think about matching pressure. Some agencies may want fast results so they can earn commission sooner. However, quick matching is not always careful matching. Speed may lead to unsuitable job suggestions that waste time for both sides. Candidates may feel pressured to accept roles that they do not really fit their goals. So it is important to protect all interests and evaluate each opportunity carefully before making a decision. Now let's move to the topic of salary. Candidates can discuss salary expectations with the agency before the formal interview. This helps the agency match them with more suitable positions. However, salary discussions should always be professional. Candidates should speak clearly, realistically, and respectfully. So, salary is not just about asking for money, it's also about understanding your value and communicating it appropriately. Now, let's look at salary range strategy. Candidates should set a realistic salary range. They should also avoid being too vague about numbers. At the same time, they should not undervalue themselves because clear and realistic ranges support better job offers. So this slide reminds us that salary planning is an important part of professional preparation, not something to decide at the last minute. Now we move to section 4.3, which includes honesty, CV, silent, and interview. The first key idea is honesty. Honesty helps agencies understand candidates more accurately. Candidates should be truthful about skills and experience and realistic about strengths and weaknesses. Honest communication improves matching quality and builds trust between candidate and the agency. So, Honesty is not only an ethical value, it is also a practical strategy. Now let us focus on honesty about preference. Candidates should state their preferred fields clearly to the agency. They should explain what kind of work they want and what type of role suits them best. They should also mention important limitations honestly, such as location, working hours, or salary expectation. Clear preferences prevent unsuitable interviews and have built trust with the recruiter. So being specific and honest saves time for everyone. Now let us consider CV editing by agency. Sometimes agencies may revise or adjust a candidate's CV before sending it to employers. This may improve presentation and make the CV more marketable. However, candidates must still know exactly what information is being sent out. So the main message of this slide is that candidates should stay informed and take responsibility for their own documents. Now please look at the practical advice on this slide. Candidates should always ask for the final version of the revised CV. They should check what employer will actually read. That is very important because candidates need to keep consistency between the CV and the interview answers. If the agency changes wording or emphasizes the candidate, should still understand it clearly. So this step helps avoid confusion and protects professional accuracy. Now let us talk about silence. Recruitment agencies may stop contacting candidates for a period of time. However, silence does not always mean rejection. There may be a different reason, such as many applications, internal delays, or waiting for feedback from the employer. So candidates should not panic immediately. Instead, they should remain patient and professional. That is important because emotional reaction can harm communication and create unnecessary stress. Now let us think about what to do when silence happens. Candidates should wait a reasonable period before following up. Then they can contact the agency politely by email or phone. The message should be respectful and professional, not angry or demanding. A simple request for an update is enough. Follow-up communication shows maturity, interest, and professionalism. So this slide teaches us that patient and polite action are both important. Now let's move to agency-based interviews. Agencies may offer candidates several interview opportunities. However, candidates do not need to accept every interview. They should choose their opportunities wisely. Some interviews may be useful for practice, but others may not suit their goal or conditions. So candidates should be selective and strategic rather than simply saying yes to everything. Now let's look at the important information candidates should know before an agency interview. They should have the interview's name, the company's name and location, and the job title with main responsibility. This information helps candidates prepare more effectively and feel more confident. Without clear information, it is difficult to research the company or understand the role properly. So, asking for basic details before the interview is both reasonable and necessary. Now we move to section 4.4. After interview, candidates should contact the agency promptly to share feedback about the meeting, ask about the next steps, and maintain professional communication. This follow-up is important because it keeps the communication channel open and shows continuous interest. So the job search process does not end when the interview ends. Professional behavior after interview also matters. Now, let's talk about leaving your current job safely. Candidates should not resign too early. They should always wait until they receive a sign. Candidates should not resign too early. They should always wait until they receive a formal written contract from the new employer. Verbal promises are not enough and may not protect a candidate legally. A signed contract confirms important details such as salaries, benefits, and start date. So this slide gives very practical advice. Protect yourself before making any major decision. Now we come to the conclusion of the lesson. While starting a new job, candidates should act in a professional and positive way. They should also thank the agency for its support during They should also thank the agency for its support during the job search. Maintaining a good relationship with the agency may be helpful for future opportunities. Finally, this is a good moment to review the key lessons from Unit 4 on recruitment agencies. So the conclusion reminds us that professionalism should continue even after getting the job. We have now reached the end of today's lesson. Thank you for your attention and participation. I hope this unit has helped you understand how recruitment agencies work and how to deal with them more effectively. Please review the main points again after class and think about how you can apply them in your own future job search journey. Thank you and see you in the next lesson.